Hey everybody, Dan here with LeafScore.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing a couple of products from Caraway, including their utensil and knife set, as well as their cutting boards. So the complete prepware kit that Caraway sells on its website. I'm going to be doing a quick unboxing of everything. Then I'm going to show you the products and review them for about 2 weeks. Put them through the ringer, come back and let you know how they performed and how they held up. And then I'll be discussing the sustainability of the company and the products. So let's get started with the unboxing. All right, we'll start with the big box. So inside we have 2 smaller boxes, and this is the knife block and the utility block set. So I'll take these out and show you each of these. This, I believe, is a tray to keep everything organized. So this is quite heavy. This is made of metal. It's hard to hear because there's a very thick rubber pad on the bottom with the Caraway insignia on it. This is to sit on your countertop, and that pad is to keep it from sliding around. Really hefty. I could imagine that this is going to last basically indefinitely. This is made of stainless steel. I'll go into that a little bit more later. We also have a container. This holds the utensil block. This is also made of metal. This is stainless steel as well. Again, rubber bottom to prevent it from sliding around. That's actually going to sit inside the base. We also have a really gorgeous knife block here. So this is made of birch wood. This is a hardwood, so it's going to stand up to dings and cuts and stabbing the top of it with your knife. So this is kind of a cool design. It's really modern. I really like it. This also has the rubber bottom. It's got space for all of the knives and the kitchen shears up there. So this is magnetized, I assume to prevent it from rattling around, and probably to prevent the knives from falling over. And then finally we have the utensil block. So this is going to hold the 4 main utensils, and then this fits inside the metal, and I believe the tongs go on the side there. And we'll take a peek at what came in the smaller boxes. So this is the utensil set. Love Caraway's packaging. Everything looks so nice, and everything is held in there beautifully. So first we have the tongs, wooden tongs. Everything has a Caraway logo on it, so that is really nice. These are also made of that same birch wood. We'll go into where that birch wood comes from in the sustainability section. And then the tongs fit nicely into the side of the utensil holder. Next up we have a wooden spoon. Feels pretty solid, very lightweight, and again has the Caraway logo embedded in the base. That's nice, and I'll just show you really quickly. These all fit nicely in the slots in the top of the utensil holder. We have a wooden spoon, kind of like a pasta spoon, a little bit shallow, and the Caraway insignia on there. That also fits nicely into the holder. We have a wooden spatula. So the beauty of these wooden pieces is that you're going to be able to use these with non-stick pots and pans, including the Caraway pans that I have right here. I also love those. There's a separate video on those on this channel, so make sure you check that out too. Really nice wooden spatula. Once again, fits into the holder. And then we have a wooden scraper. So this is going to be useful if you're making cookies or brownies or you're baking something, you need to scrape the batter out of the bowl. I suspect that this is probably not going to work as well as a silicone one, just because it's non-flexible, but nice to have it with that sustainable birch wood, and it looks gorgeous, and it matches the other utensils and fits into the holder nicely. So there are all the utensils in the holder. That is it for that box. Last box, we have the knife set. I'm gonna show you, I love their packaging. Everything totally cardboard, recyclable, sustainable, and it just looks gorgeous, it's just a nice touch. So I'm going to grab the knife block here. So first up we have kitchen shears. These are pretty nice. They feel pretty hefty. Caraway logo on there. Everything from Caraway feels so high quality. It looks like this detaches easily to clean, very easily in fact, and snaps back together quite easily. So those are the kitchen shears. Next up says we have a bread knife. This does not look like a bread knife. Mislabeled, but obviously not a big deal. So this is the chef's knife. Just right off the bat, this feels really, 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 really light. These knives are made with German stainless steel. So stainless steel is 100% recyclable. It doesn't degrade as you recycle it. So again, another super sustainable choice from Caraway. These knives are quite striking too. Thick stainless steel in there, nicely balanced as well. So that is the chef's knife. Next up we have, well that says chef's knife, but this is probably going to be the bread knife, which it is, those large serrations to prevent squishing the bread while you cut it. Another really nice knife, that thick stainless steel. And it just feels nice. All of Caraway's products, they always go above and beyond with the quality, and I love that. Next up we have the prep knife. So again, just feels really high quality and super light. I can't believe how light these knives are. And then lastly we have the paring knife, which is going to be the smallest. This can't be more than a few ounces. It feels like this weighs almost nothing at all. But same high quality, that thick stainless steel, nice comfortable handle. So far I am loving these knives. That's it for the first box. We have another with the cutting boards. So this is how it's going to sit on your counter. Nice and tidy. Looks nice and modern and clean. I love that. I love the look of Caraway products. I should also mention that this is somewhere where Caraway really shines in the storage options that they just include with their products. So when I got the pots and pans, they also included multiple ways that I could keep them stored conveniently in my lower cabinets, upper cabinets. Obviously I have a custom installation here, or storage solution. But Caraway gives you the option to store your products, which is just really cool. And it looks really nice in your kitchen. So that is the cutting board box. It says back here, there are 3 cutting boards included. Large cutting board 17 by 12 inches, medium 14 by 10, and small cutting board 10 by 7. So first here, it looks like we have yet another storage solution. This is heavy. This is probably between 5 and 10 pounds. So this is entirely metal. And there's a large rubber pad on the bottom once again to prevent it from slipping on your counter. This really has some heft, so this is going to do a great job of holding up the cutting boards. So we have the small cutting board. As you can see, this looks like it's wrapped in plastic, but it's not. It says here this eco wrap is recyclable. At Caraway, we pride ourselves on providing you with a healthier and more sustainable way to cook. This eco-friendly wrap is made from plant starch and is designed to keep your boards and the environment in mint condition during their journey to your kitchen. It says it's eco-friendly, sustainably made, compostable, and biodegradable. So just another great example of how Caraway goes above and beyond to keep their packaging sustainable. It's really, really awesome. So let's peel this off. Made from plant starch. So cool. And here is the small cutting board. So you have a small notch there to place cut vegetables or garlic or whatever you happen to be cutting. Caraway insignia on the back. And it's just really nice. This is also made from birch. I'll talk about that wood a little bit more and where it comes from in the sustainability section. Next up, we have the medium cutting board. Also in this eco wrap. It looks like you have a double-sided cutting board as well. This looks like a juice ridge. where the juice from vegetables can flow so that it doesn't get all over your counter. Could be wrong about that because the Caraway insignia is on there, but there's also this large divot up here to place cut vegetables as you are prepping. Again, really beautiful look and solid. You could tell that this is hardwood. That is going to fit beautifully into the holder as well. And this is the large cutting board. So again, big ridge routed into the top. You can put cut vegetables up there. The juice can flow into there as well, so it's not getting all over your counter. The back has the Caraway insignia, and it's got two handles here to make it easy to pick up, which I really appreciate because I've had many cutting boards where you're clawing at the bottom trying to pick it up and you can't quite get it. The edges on the bottom are rounded over too, so even if those weren't there, it'd be pretty easy, but it is nice to have those handles. And I'll give you a quick look of what those three cutting boards look like inside the holder. All right, so I'm gonna jump in here and do some testing on these knives and the cutting boards as well. So I will go ahead and set up the large cutting board. I'm gonna test a loaf of sourdough bread. I have the bread knife here, the large serrated edges, so let's just see how nicely this cuts. Very clean. Obviously you could see the bread doesn't squish down at all, which is what you want to see with a bread knife. And just to show you, this is what the cutting board looks like after just two cuts. So you can see cuts, surface scratches in the wood. That is going to be unavoidable no matter what wood you use. You're going to see that on any wood cutting board. So bread knife, check. Works really, really nicely. I have a sweet potato here. Obviously sweet potato is pretty hard, so it's a good test for, let's say, the chef's knife. So that's what I'm going to use to cut that. And we'll see how easily this goes through. Really easily. That is like butter. That is very nice. I'm barely putting any pressure on it, and it's just gliding right through. That is super nice. You could get if you go a little harder, you could get a quick clean chop. So made quick work of the sweet potato. Very nice. I'm actually going to bring the sweet potato back and test out the paring knife. So this is like a smaller version of the chef's knife. Very easy to maneuver. This is a super lightweight knife. I'm actually going to do a weight comparison with my existing knives, but really just slices through this hard sweet potato. This is not really what I should be using to cut this, but just to show you that you can cut right through with barely any effort. So the larger prep knife with the long flat surface is really going to be used for chopping vegetables, or at least that's what I use it for. So that's going to be what you would cut a sweet potato with. And as you can see, it's slicing right through it with no issue at all. So I have here a spaghetti squash, which is a very difficult thing to cut through normally. I always struggle a little bit to cut through these. I'm gonna get on the other side here so I can get some leverage behind it. I will use the chef's knife again for this, which is what I would normally use. The stem is over here, which is always the most difficult part to get through, but it does seem to be working nicely, at least as well as my Chicago cutlery knives. Again, spaghetti squash is always something I struggle to cut, so I think any difficulty that I'm having is probably not any bearing on the knife and more so on my poor cutting skills, but as you can see, it gets through it easily enough, at least as easy as my other set of knives. I also wanted to chop an onion just to show you what that might look like. So I have my chef's knife here, red onion. It just glides through the onion like like it's nothing. I am barely putting any pressure on that at all. I'm also going to show you a weight comparison. As I started using these knives, it sunk in how light they were and how easy they are to handle. So just out of curiosity, I weighed these. I'll show you how easy it is to chop. Super, super smooth. And then you have this routed out section up here to put the onion or whatever else you might be prepping at the time, which is really handy. So just a quick comparison. I'm not sure if you can see these cuts, but this is what the board looks like after quite a bit of cutting and testing. You can see some surface scratches here, but nothing too crazy. So I have another test here. I have a slab of steak. I'm not going to cut steak on the wood cutting boards pretty much ever. Whether or not you do is up to you, obviously. I did look online and I saw that it is safe to cut meat on wood, provided you have a non-porous wood like this birch from Caraway. However, I just don't like that, so I'm going to cut on a plastic cutting board. I did want to show you the kitchen scissors and how well those work. So I'm going to slices right through the muscle with no issue at all. And this is a really dense piece of fat, so I'm going to try to cut through that and no issue at all going right through that. I'll cut another piece here just to show you how easy it is. Super, super convenient. But of course you could also use the knives that you get with the Caraway set, using the prep knife, and that is, it is blowing my mind actually how easy it is to cut through literally everything. I'm putting barely any pressure on here and it's just cutting right through. I'm gonna hold it with my fingertips so you can really see how little pressure I'm putting, and it just cuts right through it with no issue at all. So I did mention that I currently use Chicago cutlery knives and that I was super impressed with how lightweight the Caraway knife set was. So I wanted to give you a quick side-by-side comparison of just how light these are. I'll take the chef's knife first. So you can see these are roughly the same size. The Chicago cutlery, 269 grams. The Caraway, 203, so quite a bit lighter. Let's take a look at the bread knives. So the Chicago cutlery one is a bit longer. That comes in at 219, Caraway 178. So again, much lighter. And the reason that I'm comparing them is just because as I was using them, it occurred to me just how easy they were to hold and maneuver. So this one is quite a bit larger, so I'm expecting it to be much heavier, 246 and 188. And you can kind of get an idea of how the knife compares to a standard set that you would buy elsewhere. The quality feels about the same, but again, the Caraway knives are just so much easier to maneuver. That little bit of weight makes such a big difference. And then finally, the paring knives. So these are more or less the exact same size. The Chicago cutlery knife, 98 grams. The Caraway, 74. So on all counts, the Caraway knives are significantly lighter than a comparable knife set. I'll say it's comparable in quality. And just for the sake of completion, the scissors weigh 141. And then finally, I wanted to do a quick demonstration of how you might prep with some of these tools. So I'm cooking in a Caraway skillet, which I absolutely love. I would not normally do this with beef, but just for the sake of showing how easy it is to cut with the scissors, I will go ahead and do that. So I'm now going to use the wooden spatula, which I've never used before. on a nonstick pan, which is perfectly fine. The wood will not scratch nonstick surfaces, so you're totally safe to do that. The Caraway has a ceramic coating also. Again, wood will not scratch that. So this is safe to use on all cookware. Also, just a quick note that the wood utensils all are coated. So they have some sort of protective finish on it that the cutting boards did not have. So I'm more comfortable using these to handle raw meat. Just a note, as I said, that I wouldn't use wood on meat. So it's safe to do with the wood utensils. I was also very pleasantly proven wrong about the bowl scraper. So this is pancake mix in the bowl, and you can see that the scraper does a surprisingly good job of scraping all of the remnants off. So I thought and then that's even around the odd curves in the bowl. So I thought because this wasn't flexible that it wouldn't really work well, but it actually works about as well as the silicone scrapers that you're probably used to using. So I wouldn't necessarily say an upgrade, but given that this is a sustainable material, I would say that it is an upgrade in that sense. So before we wrap up, I also wanted to discuss the sustainability of Caraway as a whole. As a company, Caraway consistently blows me away with how far out of their way they go to make sustainable products. And it's rather inspiring, and I really wish that other companies would adopt what they're doing. So first off, as I mentioned numerous times already, their packaging is sustainable. Everything is cardboard, with the exception of those pseudo plastic sheets that were actually made out of plant fiber, that were biodegradable and compostable, which is just so cool to see. The only exception are the silica gel packets, and obviously you can't get around that. But other than that, everything is sustainably sourced, including the wood. So this is all birch. All of the wood you see here, the cutting boards, the utensils, the utensil block, the knife block, it is all FSC certified wood. So FSC is Forest Stewardship Council, and that is a third-party company that tracks the entire supply chain of wood products to ensure that everything is being sourced ethically and in an environmentally sustainable way. So Caraway on its website has mentioned that this wood costs around 3 times as much as wood that is not FSC certified. So that is just a testament to how far Caraway is willing to go to make sure that its products aren't putting undue strain on the environment. And we at LeafScore are very appreciative of that and will always support companies that continue to do that. Now, as far as the metal on these products, so the metal on the base of the cutting board holder, the metal that surrounds the utensils, and the metal in the knives themselves. This is a 100% German stainless steel. So as you might know, stainless steel is 100% recyclable, and it doesn't degrade as it goes through those recycling cycles. So it is a very sustainable material. So again, love to see Caraway using that kind of material. On its website, Caraway also mentions that every single one of these products is free from PTFE, PFOA, BPA, cadmium, lead, phthalates, volatile organic compounds or VOCs, and many other compounds that are potentially dangerous and are prevalent in prepware. So these are products that I would feel safe using in my own home, letting my family members use, because Caraway goes so out of their way to make sure that they don't contain any dangerous compounds at all. I feel like I have to note that these are not the only products that Caraway does this for. You should check out our video on the Caraway cookware and bakeware sets. These are super high quality, gorgeous pieces of cookware and bakeware, and Caraway puts the same effort into making sure that those are ethically and environmentally sustainable, which is just so great. We can't say enough good things about Caraway as a company. So overall, I am super, super impressed with these Caraway products. Once again, everything has held up really, really well. The cutting boards barely have any visible wear on them, even though we've been using them constantly for 2 weeks. The utensils, to my surprise, have not chipped at all. So especially on the spatula and the scraper, the edges are super thin to let you get under things, and they haven't chipped. The best part about wooden utensils, by the way, is that you can use them with non-stick cookware without worrying whether or not they're going to scratch and take off whatever coating might be on there. So really impressed with the utensils. The knives are also super impressive. So we are used to using Chicago cutlery knives. You saw the weight comparison previously in the video. So right out of the box, these knives were almost identical in sharpness to the Chicago cutlery ones, and they do not seem to have dulled at all over the 2 weeks that we tested them. They have retained their edge super well. So I mentioned that these are German steel, so they're going to hold an edge longer than something like Japanese steel that doesn't go through the same hardening process. But still, even for this kind of hardened steel, I'm impressed with how well the edge has held up. In fact, just to prove that, I have a piece of paper, so I will do the paper test. That is exactly what you want to see from a knife after 2 weeks. There is no ripping here at all, and this has been used constantly over the 2 weeks, and I have not sharpened it yet. So very impressed with how these are holding their edge. Overall, I'm really pleased with these Caraway products. I would absolutely recommend them, especially because they're so sustainable and they're free of basically every single potentially dangerous compound that you would find in other prepware. So absolutely recommend these if you're looking for new cutting boards, utensils, or knives. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, make sure you leave a like. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below and we'll do our best to get back to you. You can subscribe for more content like this, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video.